This week's episode is brought to you in part by MPix, delivering the highest quality prints and products from your photos. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow.
Welcome to PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop guys.
Well, welcome back everybody to PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. Oof. Really, Corey?
I was a little behind on that one, sorry.
Really?
I'm late to the party.
Have you not watched my quick response time in previous episodes, and this is what you come up
However,
with?
Matt, he was a little thrown off by the fact you didn't say another
I know, I did forget it. So let's start this over.
We're
Welcome to another subterranean episode of PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals, creators of PhotoshopUser magazine.
I like that take back.
Also, by Sony Cases.
Empty Sony cases.
Empty Sony cases. Not really. All right, we're back. And I guess we can't say we're flying the missing man formation because we're not really.
No.
It's still a formation. And,
Right,
and
it's just a different
We got
three.
three people. It's just a different three people. So Scott is out on the road this weekend. Because we're recording this on Friday. But we are here with Dave Cross.
Hello.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I see you're wearing a Canada shirt today.
Yeah, just for a change, I thought I'd mix it up a bit.
You like to change things up a little bit. And we're also here with Corey Barker.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, Corey.
Thank you.
Looks like we have a great show for you. Hey, before we get into the tutorials, we all have tutorials and prizes and all those things. I want to mention one of our sponsors for the show is Kelbytraining Live. So amongst Kelbytraining Live, Dave teaches, I teach, Corey does classes, Scott, Ben Wilmore. Just to give you a quick recap of some of our dates, I'm teaching on March 9th. I'm teaching the Lightroom tour in Houston. And then, Dave, you've got some coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to Arlington on the 19th and then Phoenix on the 21st of March.
And if you go to kelbytraininglive.com, you can see all the tours that we do. You can see all the descriptions, how the day pans out, everything. Ben Wilmore is teaching his tour. It's called From Focus to Finish. I've heard some great things about it. He just did the first
really good,
one the other week. That's in LA on March 23rd. And then Scott kicks off Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It, which is a brand new tour. If you've ever seen Scott's Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It class, he basically, and this is the tour day is broken out into 5 classes. Each class has a different lighting setup. So he lights it, he shoots it, and then he retouches it.
He retouches it.
He retouches it.
And that's a good name. That's a good name for the tour.
I think the key, though, is that each class, he starts with an empty stage and kind of builds up the lighting for different situations.
Yeah, and you can kind of see everything unfold right there. So I think that's going to be a really cool tour.
Very cool.
And you know, one thing I don't think we say enough about our Kelbytraining Live tour, which I think is really very cool, is the fact that it's 100% guarantee. So if you sit through half the day and you go, you know what, this isn't for me, no questions asked, money back. And you very rarely get people asking for their money back, frankly, because people seem to like it. So
and I mean, people even come back and ask for the money back and want to keep the workbook, and it's like, take it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, make sure you check it out over at kelbytraininglive.com. Dave, you got a tutorial?
I do. I have a quick little tutorial. Actually, last night on Twitter, I went on and said, okay, I need a tip idea. So got a number of suggestions. This was my friend Ken Tony threw out this idea. And I was like, thanks, Ken. Good thought. So this is a cool kind of I don't want to say hidden technique, because it's not really hidden, but it's not obvious, to put it that way. So just as I've set up a very simple example here, but I've got, this is a regular type layer, you can see with the word wood, and what I really want to do is cut a hole through this black rectangle so you can see through to the wood texture below. So I could load it as a selection, hide it, come over here, and add a layer mask, and then invert it. Oops, don't open it, Dave. He says as he presses the wrong shortcut. And that would give me the effect, but it's a one-shot deal because the text is no longer editable. So if I kind of backtrack that a little bit, if I want to keep this an editable text layer, I double-click on it, and I come up here to where this says Knockout, and you'll see right in the middle it says Knockout. This is a little misleading, because when you do shallow, nothing appears to happen. You have to change the fill opacity to 0. And at first, it still doesn't appear to have worked because it's transparent. It's going to transparent. So what you have to do, oddly enough, is take these 2 layers, the knockout text and the rectangle, and group them together. And now you can see through to the texture below. But the difference is this is still text. So if I wish to edit it, I could still do it. I just replace it with the same letter. Okay, I can't think of any. Oh, I know.
Wad.
I was like, what else can I put in here?
Word.
So the point is, it's still editable text, but gives you
Word
that
update.
kind of see-through. So Word, it's a solid choice.
Dave, how the heck did you figure that out?
I don't know.
Seriously. I mean, because most people, okay, so once you get past the mask thing, which, I think a lot of people would turn to, and then, it's not editable. So then, people have seen that little knockout thing. And once you figured that out, most people would go in there and it goes to transparent and say, okay, this sucks. I'm not using it to group it, to get it really.
I think, honestly, in that case, I went to what I like to jokingly call the help file in Photoshop, because sometimes it's...
So the help file actually
the help
helped.
file, it took a bit of interpreting the wording in the help file of what you needed to do because it was written, of course, by an engineer who couldn't just say group them together. They had to make it much more complicated, but eventually I figured that out.
It's good
I
stuff.
used that feature 3 times already today. Everybody knows that feature. Where you been?
Sorry. I'm new to Photoshop. I'm just learning. All right, hey, we're going to take a very quick break, and when we get back, we got more tutorials and more stuff.
Other stuff. Word.
Hey, we're back, and before we get into, I've got a tutorial that's coming up here, but before we get into that, we actually have a guest in the studio.
Live audience.
Believe me, yeah, we have a live audience. Most people don't ever want to come by and see us, but we have Barbara that's in today. Hey, Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Good. So Barbara's here auditing the show.
Studio audience of 1.
Yeah.
We're testing.
The network got a hold of some of the stuff that we were doing, and they sent somebody down. Barbara's just a friend, and she came by to see the show. So if you're ever, I could regret saying this, but I'm going to say it. If you're ever in Tampa and you want to stop by, drop us a line.
If you catch us on a good day.
It's $187 for a seat in the audience. And,
No, not at all. Drop us a line, and if we're doing something that day, we'll see if we can get you in here. It's kind of fun to have somebody that we can actually talk to. Even though we can't look at you because you're over there, but it's we have an audience. All right, so I have a quick tip here. So I call this like the go-to technique. I've been using it on all my portraits. I'm starting here in Lightroom. You don't have to start in Lightroom. You could start in Camera Raw or just open a photo in Photoshop. So I'm going to jump over to Photoshop. Just press Command-E on the Mac or Control-E on the PC. And that opens up the photo inside of Photoshop. And so the technique has to do with the eyes. And what I used to do for right under the eyes, you see the little dark circles.
sorry,
and
can you just pause for one moment? We can just go,
Sorry. So this is actually my little niece. She's a cutie, except when she's sleeping because she doesn't sleep. But other than that, she was a cutie. She, I mean, everybody's got that. Babies, kids, adults. Everybody's got these little dark areas underneath their eyes. And what I used to do is I would take the healing brush, make sure all layers is turned on, and create a new layer for it. And then I used to just kind of hold down the Option key, sample, and then paint right underneath there, and just go in and kind of get rid of that. The problem that I have is it always kind of left things a little streaky, and then it always, like when you reduce the opacity, because that's what you have to do here, it always still kind of looked a little bit, it was a little bit muddy,
Right.
I was never really happy with it, and I always wind up tweaking it a little bit. So I learned another technique, which is to go to the clone stamp tool, you change the mode to lighten, and change the opacity to about 45% or so. And what we're gonna do is just hold down the Option key on Mac, Alt on PC, and come in here and just brush across. And this way you can control how much that you're gonna paint. Come over here, do the same thing, Option or Alt click, sample, just kind of do a couple swipes across. I usually do about 2, maybe 3 swipes across, because here's the key: is you don't want to get rid of that. You don't want it to go to the point where
because before you're
just smooth
just
skin.
covering it 100%. You don't necessarily want to do that.
Yeah, and then of course we did this on a separate layer. So you've got two things that I think make this better. Is the light and blend mode forces the clone stamp tool to only affect some of the darker pixels that are there, which is what we're trying to get rid of, is the darker pixels. And then you've got a 40% opacity brush, which is will let you kind of go in and build up the technique. And then of course, if it ever goes too far, you've got this on a separate layer, so you can always reduce the opacity if you want to. So that's kind of been the go-to technique that I've been using on all my portraits ever since I kind of strayed away from the healing brush tool.
Safe, effective. I like it.
Subterranean.
Subterranean.
All right, hey, we are going to take one more quick break. When we get back, we have Corey's tutorial, and we have our contest, and
Are we on a
probably
break?
it.
All right. Was it a break? Was it a break and then? Okay, never.
It might not have been. It might have been a break. We're going to take a break now, but
To the producers.
I think we're breaking, but
we'll break.
All right.
Well, hey, everybody, we are back once again, and we have Dave's got a quick tip for us.
yep, I'm just going to slight variation on the first text tip. And the first example made the letters take a bite a hole out of the wood. In this case, want to go, what if you want the word to be filled with the pattern? So all I have to do is put that photographic layer on top of the word, and then Option or Alt click between the two layers, and now the photo is shown inside the text. You can still move it around, do all sorts of fun things with it, and if you happen to have, as I do here, a bevel and emboss, even that shows up bevel. So just another example.
Dave, I say this, I don't know if it'll work. Could you duplicate that layer if you still wanted the wood background?
Yeah.
And duplicate it and drag it below?
Yeah, sure. Just put it down
They call us extra.
there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So now if you kind of just want the wood
Yeah.
in the wood.
Certainly.
Cool. Hey, Corey's got something for us too.
I do?
What?
Okay.
You can show us how to be late holding up the magazine? Like, I've never, ever done that before.
Well, I'm in training, remember?
Yeah.
With the magazine part. You know.
What's my excuse?
Yes. There we go. All right. So I got a design layout here that we're going to build from scratch, really quick and easy, using a couple of tools you probably never use. So we will begin. I've got a document here, and I've got it already set with a black background here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new blank layer. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up my rulers. Just simply press Command or Control R. And we're going to start with a box up here in the upper left corner. So I'm going to go over here into the toolbar, grab my rectangular marquee tool. Hold down the Shift key so it draws out a perfect box, and we're going to start at the top and go down to around the 3-inch mark there. And with that selection active, I'm going to go ahead and drag out some guides from my rulers. Let's drag one out here, and it will snap to the edge of that selection. So we'll just drag it out there and snap, and then we'll drag a horizontal one.
Snap.
And snap. Then I'm going to take that same selection and just move it down to that point right there, and then drag another horizontal one. Ready? Here we go. Snap. All right. Good timing. Now, going to go and deselect. Now I've got my guides in place, so we're going to go over here into that same selection tools and grab these marquee tools. You got the single row marquee and the single column marquee. Nobody ever uses these.
Certainly two tools nobody ever uses.
Nobody ever uses these, but we're going to use them.
Corey's
right
going to
now.
show us a really cool use for them, I have a feeling.
So first I'm going to start with the single column marquee tool. And what it does, it just takes a 1 pixel wide selection, whether it's the width or height of the document. So I'm just going to click right on the guide pretty much right here, and it activates that selection. And on that blank layer, I'm just going to fill that with white. So we'll just do white, normal. There's a little white line there. Next, we're going to do the single column, or single row marquee, and then we'll do the same thing here. Add a selection, fill it, and then once again, I'm just option deleting since, and that's filling it with
Sorry, that was 2 snaps.
black instead of, thank you.
No, you're not. Would you please tell the audience that you're okay with my distracting snap?
I'm okay. In fact, I don't even know really Matt's there, so. All right, so we've used the guides, we've built the lines on that layer, so I'm going to take this line, because it did go all the way across, but this particular line, I just want to stop right there at that middle line. So I'm just going to draw a selection here and hit delete, but we're going to get really close because we want to get right to the edge here of the line. There it is. So now we've got all these boxes in place. So now what we're going to do is I have a few images here, and we're going to build a Mini Cooper ad. Why? It's an homage to the Cooper I want, the Cooper I once owned. So I no longer have it. I'm sorry, it's sad to say. Yes, it's tragic. So anyway, I'm going to take this first one. It's an interior shot, so we're assuming we're building a car ad here. So the first thing is I don't want it in color. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick little trick that Scott showed me a long time ago. You just set your foreground color to black and white, and then just go to Adjustments and choose Gradient Map. And it gives you a nice black and white. Nobody really knows why it does it that way, but it does work. All right. So now with that, I'm going to go ahead and do a Select All, and then copy this to the clipboard. So Edit, Copy. So we got that entire image now in the clipboard. Now what we're going to do back in our layout here is just take the magic wand, and I'm going to go ahead and click in this box right here. And because those lines are all connected, each box is a separate area.
Yeah, so when you click in it.
When I click in it, it only samples that area that's inside the box. So with that selection active, I'm going to go under Edit menu and go down here to Paste Special and choose Paste Into. What that does is something very cool. It does so many things in one step. It creates a new layer, pastes the image in, and then makes a layer mask based on that active selection, which is that little boxed area. But you'll notice also that the image is not linked to the layer mask as it normally would be. That chain link is not there, which allows us to move the image around inside of that area. Now, obviously, it's a little big. So let's go ahead and put it in free transform, and then again press Command 0. And then we'll just scale this in and better fit the image inside the layout. So that looks good. And I can move it around wherever I want to later on. So we'll just continue doing that. You have to go back and reselect the layer that contains the lines to get the box selection. We'll go back into this image here, do another Select All, copy to the clipboard, and then once again, paste into, reposition it. We get a nice close-up of the light here. And then last one, again, copy to the clipboard. And this is the thing that always gets me, is that you have to go back to that same layer that contains those lines to make that selection of the box. I always forget, and I end up clicking with the magic wand tool on a layer I don't mean to. So one more time, here we go.
And it'll let you sample all layers, and there's a checkbox for it, but that looks at all the layers, so you can't even guarantee it's only going to look at that grid that you draw, because it could look at the other stuff too.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll just position that in there. And then I've got a couple of text elements here. There's the logo and the text. So we'll just kind of have those random boxes in there. But the cool thing is that paste into feature is the real key here, is that you're able to do all those in one single step. And once it's all there, you can just reselect the layers and position them wherever you want them to be. Now, one last thing I want to do here is that the lines that we built, I actually want to use those as a part of the finished design. But I'm actually going to take the layer that contains those lines and bring it up to the very top of the layer order. And then to make the lines just a little bit bolder, here's a cool trick. Just go here and add a layer style and simply add a stroke. And we'll just make it white like everything else. And we'll just make it a 2 pixel so you can see the difference there. Little defined lines a little bit more so. And voila, there you have. Cool layout. You can paste your images in.
Small car that's big on style.
It is. I like that. Actually made up that tagline myself, too.
You should work for Mini Cooper.
I guess.
All right, hey, we're just about done with our show. We've got a couple things. We've got some giveaways and the pseudo contest.
Pseudo contest, the just for fun trivia thing that we now do.
And I'm confused as heck as to how this whole thing works. So, Dave, I'm going to let you take it.
Okay, well, it's quite simple, actually, Matt. But I will explain. We decided for the contest to win the fabulous prizes, you just have to go and leave a comment. Not have the trivia thing is completely separate, just for fun. If you want to do trivia, you can do that. But if you want to win one of these 2 fabulous prizes, either a copy of the On One Perfect Photo Suite, a value of $1 million. Now it's like $4.99 or something like that, $5.99. And or a Photoshop World Pass to Orlando. Then you just have to go to the Kelby TV page where there's a comment section and just leave a comment and just say, hey. It could be simple as that.
Say hi.
Or whatever you want.
Yeah, it's kelbytv.com/PhotoshopUser.
Just write, hey, I want to go to Photoshop World.
And
leave ideas for the show. It's kind of why we did it.
Right,
Just we want everybody to kind of contribute and let us know. So.
Now, for those of you longtime watchers that enjoy the trivia part, then this is just for fun. Is just to make you work a little bit to see where do you find an option called medium dots. And that's just the fun part. So if you
I have
feel
no
like,
idea, Dave.
If you feel like answering that, or you don't have to, but
Oh, I know.
hope you win one of these.
Shh. Don't tell him yet. All right. I think that's a show.
That's it?
That's a show. Okay, bye.
Nice ending. Okay, bye.
Can we go now? That's-
Okay, bye. Hey, thank you very much for sticking with us for this chat. And thank you to Barbara for being here.
Our audience. Of
Our
one.
audience, special audience guest of
Without
one.
you, you were the glue that held this show together today. Because without you, Corey would be holding up.
I'd
the
be lost.
magazine
I don't
still,
know.
think.
I'd still be trying to figure out how to hold the magazine right now.
So thank you to Barbara, thanks Dave, thanks Corey, and also thank you guys for watching. And finally, thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring the show, because that's what lets us be here every week. All right, well guys, we'll see you again next week. Thanks again. Oh wait,
Oh, what?
crap, Dave, this is the last show of the season.
Oh, yes.
So we have to
is
do
the
a little
finale.
bit
Next
more of a
week.
farewell. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you in 4 weeks. So if you didn't know, we do the show in seasons. It kind of gives us a break, kind of gives the video team a break to catch up on projects. So this is the last show of the season. So we'll be back in 4 weeks. That gets us through Photoshop World and all those different
We have no
things.
season finale cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to
Start to fall. We have to reveal something about somebody.
But-
By the way, RC is... no.
All right, so we will see you back here in 4 weeks. In the meantime, if you haven't seen all the past episodes and you're looking for something to do over 4 weeks, just go through KelbyTV.com. Trust me, there is much more than you could ever possibly watch in 4 weeks on there. All right, guys, take care again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.